Okay, so I'm going to explain you what we were doing in class. I'm going to start first by creating the waves. And I remember I left you the original here for reference. Since my original shows that the first one, I don't have to create waves on it, then I'm just going to create it in this one. We have a couple of options. We can do it with the pen tool by adding anchor points, or what we did in class was to use the curvature tool, which is simply to add anchor points and just move them to create simple and easy curves. So I'm just going to do it really fast for the because I don't want the video to be really long. So there we go. Those are my curves. Okay, and my original also shows that I need two wave layers. So these will be this one, this will be behind it, okay, over there, and I need another one. So I'm going to get a copy by pressing Alt and dragging it, and I'm going to change its color. So this first part is very, very simple, okay, but I want my three layers to be aligned to the right. So I select them all, go to properties, and remember we have the alignment options. So I'm going to click in here, and now they are perfectly aligned. I am not going to group them because the boat goes between these two. So I'm just going to let them be there. And I'm going to hide them. So I have my waves over here. This will be my light blue wave. So I'm going to rename my layers so I know exactly what's in them. This will be my mid blue wave. And this other one is my dark blue wave. Okay, so remember when you click in this squares, you can select them or activate that layer. And I'm going to hide them. I'm not going to use them now. I'm going to continue by creating the building, the orange building, which will be my building number 1. And I have a reference image that I left here for you, like guidelines. It's very simple. The first thing I'm going to do is to create the base. I'm going to zoom in to work in here, and I'm going to create the base that goes along this way. And it's a tan base. And then I need the red one, and instead of creating a second rectangle, I'm just going to click and drag and change its color to red. Okay, I want the tan to be on top of it, so I select it, right click, arrange, bring to front. There we go. Now I'm going to create the triangle that will fit in here. I click on my start tool, click once, 3 points because my triangle has 3 sides, and I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to flip it. Again, in the transform options, I have the rotation options, the reference points, and the flipping options. I'm going to click in this one. I'm going to change its color to orange, and I'm just going to simply resize it so it fits all the way there. Now we take a look at our example. We can see that we have another pair of the same shapes. So I'm just going to simply click. Oh, let me lock that layer. Didn't lock it. There we go. So I'm going to select them, the 3, press Alt and duplicate them. And this time I'm going to place them over there, and I will start resizing them so they fit the second pair of guides. Okay, so I'm going to press Shift and I'm going to resize them. Something like that. Now I have them there ready. Okay, I think maybe this one, I'll put it in this level. Yeah, I think it's in that level. Perfect. Now I'm going to do the same with the other part. I'm going to, awesome. I'm going to click in here, press Shift, press Alt and drag them again so I don't have to trace them. And I'm just going to simply follow the same things that I did. I'm just going to resize them so they fit in here. And one more time, I'm going to move this one and this one, so they are something like that. Okay, I'm doing this really fast. In class we took more time to do this. Perfect, so I have all my buildings there, and I'm going to select them and align them to the center so they are even. I also left you the windows, so I'm going to grab the window over here, duplicate this, I'm going to zoom in, click in here, duplicate it like that, yeah, to select the three of them. And in alignment, I'm going to click in this option so they are evenly distributed. And I need another set, but this time I'm going to move them just a little bit. And again, I'm going to click and align to evenly distribute the space between them. Maybe there, perfect. So I'm going to select them all again and just place them on top of my building. If they're not on top, remember right click, arrange, bring to front. And my building is ready. So I'm just going to select everything and group it. I can click in here or do right click and group, or the shortcut is Command G. And now I have my first building ready. And I'm going to rename it Building 1. So that's set. And I'm going to place it where it's supposed to be, somewhere there. Perfect. And since I'm not going to use the guides anymore, I can just delete that layer. Perfect. Now my building, I'm going to lock it. I don't want that to move. And I'm going to proceed to the second building. In the second building, I have a compound shape. Compound object made of 3 rectangles, but they also have gaps from the arcs in here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to create the arc. So when you click in your rectangle or in a shape with the transform tool or the selection tool, you can see these little circles. If we just click without releasing and start dragging, then all the tips from all the corners from the rectangle will be moved, but I just want to move one at a time. So I'm going to click and release, so I activate this and then click again and drag it to the center so I can create the shape for the arcs. So I have it there. The next step will be to place these shapes on top of another. This one goes first, on top of another. I don't want empty spaces between them. I'm going to select them, go to properties and align them to the right. And then in the Pathfinder, I have all these options. The option that I'm going to use is this one, Unite. Remember, grouping and unite, it's not the same. If you click in group, then the 3 of them will become a compound object, but you can edit them separately. But this one creates a shape, okay? And then I'm just going to grab my first arc and place it maybe there. I'm going to bring it to the front. With Alt, I'm going to create another copy, something like that. And if I want to be them aligned and also equally distributed, I'm going to click in there. Perfect. I already have this building. I'm going to select everything, and now I'm going to click in the second option, the minus front option. There's my building. I'm going to grab one of the windows, move it to the front. I press Alt and duplicate it one more time. And now I'm going to create a group because I still want these windows to remain individual. So I'm going to group this, go to my layers and rename this to Building 2. Perfect. Now I'm just going to simply drag this. Remember that I move through my workspace by pressing the space bar so I can move around. And I'm going to bring Building 1 up. There we go, because it covers it. Perfect. Now I'm going to step to this building, building number 3. And as you can see, I have round corners, but I also have a circle and a tip in here. I left you all the shapes. So what I'm going to do is to place this circle like that, this one over there, this one over there, and that one over there. And I want them to be aligned something like that. Yes, to the bottom, I place them. And then I'm going to grab the tip, place it in there, and I want this to be aligned in the center to the circle. Perfect. Now I'm going to select everything, go to Properties, and click in the Unite option. Then I'm going to create this tile that goes in top of the building. I have the reference here, the size reference for this one, but I can see that this one is rotated, but I also need another one. So with Alt, I'm going to get a copy of that one and paint it green. There we go. I'm going to leave that like that, but this one, I'm going to rotate it from its center, I think 45 degrees, yes, 45 degrees. But as you can see, the edges are a little bit bloated and the other one are like bent to the center. So I'm going to grab my curvature tool and I'm going to, there, my curvature tool, and I'm going to start clicking and bending all those spaces there, click and bend to get that shape. And the bloating effect, I click in this one and drag just a little bit. I'm doing it really fast. Perfect. So I have both shapes. Now I'm going to place this one and resize this a little bit because it's bigger than the other one. I'm going to move it to the back. So arrange, send to back, select them both and align them vertically and horizontally. And I think I can make this a little bit bigger and center them again. Awesome. Now I'm going to open my ellipse tool and create a circle, a blue circle that I'm going to place on top of this one, and now I'm going to align them together. I can group this and put it in here. I'm going to align this to the center. Perfect. Group them again. Now I have my next building ready, and I'm going to rename this building 3. And I'm going to place it over there. Perfect. Now for the next one, what I want to do is to keep the same shape that I have in here and just create the rest of the building. So I'm going to create a copy of that building. I'm going to ungroup this, get rid of the center, and I'm going to put a rectangle on top of it, somewhere like that. So I'm just going to get that tip. Select them both and click in the second option. Now I have the top of my building, and this is the reference guide. I'm going to create another one so I can use it for this one. And again, I'm going to click in here, click and release, and drag. Click and release and drag to get that rounded effect. I'm going to place it on top of my building or the window. I'm going to select them both because I want them to be aligned to the center and also to the bottom. Click in the second option of the Pathfinder, the minus front, and voila, we have this part of the building. So let's just put it together. I'm going to change the colors so you can, so I'm going to put it there so we can see the difference between the shapes, and then I can just move them later. So I'm going to place the window over here, there, and then my second building over there. Resize this and put it in there. And I'm going to place this one and resize this there. Perfect. Now I'm missing the red parts. So I'm going to grab a rectangle and create one on top of the other shapes, paint it red, and then I'm going to press Alt so I can drag and place the other rectangle, something like that. I'm going to paint it yellow again, this one yellow, and according to my original, like this one, we have another set of rectangles, blue rectangles. So I'm just going to click and drag. I don't want to trace this again, so I'm just going to click and drag. Select them both with Shift so I can align them to the bottom. Click and Alt so I can drag them and resize this for the ones in the center. I have it there, a little bit smaller, there. I press Alt and drag. Select them both with Shift, and I'm going to align them to the center. Perfect. I have my other building ready. I am going to select it all, not that one. So I'm going to lock this one. Perfect. I'm going to select my entire building, group it, Command G, and rename this group to Building 4. Now, I don't have to do this again for this one. So I'm just going to press Alt and drag, and I want them both to be aligned. So I'm just going to press Shift, click in the other one to select them both, go to Properties and align them to the bottom. Now they're in the right place. And I'm going to lock these layers. I don't want them to move. Also that one. Perfect. Now I have all my buildings. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to create the bird, the boat, the clouds, to cut the rainbow, the flower, and the background.